بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. My dear student, greeting to you all. Today, inshallah, we will carry on with our English language lessons for the third year. My name is teacher Inas Al-Hudaythi. So as you can see, this will be the end of our unit, Travel, Lesson 4. And since we have this lesson with so many information, we decided to have Part 1 and Part 2. So this is Part 2. And we will revise what we have learned in the previous lesson. That was part number 1. So let's start, Bismillah. Let's start by revising the previous lesson. In the previous lesson, we learned how to use prepositions of time. In, on, at. We will be doing the same in this lesson. And we were able to fill a note that was related with traveling and boarding pass. So, by the end of the lesson, my dear student, you are expected, inshallah, to use how many and how much. What do I mean by how many, or which information I'm seeking by using how many and how much? Okay. Also, we will differentiate between countable and uncountable nouns, and as usual, we'll be doing plenty of exercises because this is a grammar lesson. This is the cover of your unit, Travel and Transportation. This is the cover, and this will be the last lesson. In the previous lesson, my dear student, we talked about prepositions of time. We talked about 3 prepositions of time. In particular, we talked about in. When do I use in, my dear student? We use in with parts of the day. In the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, or perhaps with months. February, March, Ramadan, Shawwal. Also, we use in with the season, spring, summer, autumn, fall. Also, we use in with years in 2013, in the 1990s, and on. Okay, so we have in. Next one I have is on. When do I use on, my dear student? I use on with days. As you can see here, Sunday, Monday morning, Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday evening, birthday, a holiday, May 5th, a weekday or weekend. So, mainly we are using on with days. While for the last preposition, we are using at with time. At night, at 10:30, at noon, at midday, at midnight, at bedtime, at sunrise, sunset, at weekend. Okay, so we have 3 prepositions of time. In, on. So let's start doing this exercise. Here I have the words afternoon, 7:55, Friday afternoon, spring, 30th of September, weekdays, midday, and 1995. And I have 3 prepositions of time. In, on, and at. So let's decide together which word we are using with the correct preposition of time. I have afternoon. To start with, afternoon is often used with in the afternoon. Very good. Next one I have 7:55. I have a time here. 7:55 at 7:55. Very good. At 7:55. Next, I have Friday afternoon. It's a day. Friday afternoon. Very good. On Friday afternoon. Excellent. Next one I have spring, a season. In spring. Very good. 30th of September. On 30th of September. Very good. Weekdays. Weekdays. On weekdays. Midday. At midday, and the last one I have a year 1995, in 1995. Very good, my dear student. So here I have the 3 prepositions of time, in, on, and at. Now, this is our lesson, and you will find this at page 29. Here we will use the 2 question words, how much and how many. How to use them, when to use them correctly. We need to revise something before we decide. Countable and uncountable. For countable, these will be the objects that we can count, such as doors, such as apples, oranges, bananas, students, teachers, pencils. These are countable nouns. For the uncountable nouns, these will be the objects that we cannot count, like sugar, coffee, tea, salt, hair, sand. Okay, so for orange, as you can see, can we count oranges? The answer is yes. Here I have an orange, and here I have 2 oranges. Okay, if I ask you a question about the number of the oranges, I will use the question how many? How many oranges can you see? 1, 2. So how many is used with countable nouns. But to your left here, I can see 1, 2, 3. I can see 3 apples, right? So with countable, we will be using how many? How many apples can you see? Okay. But for milk, milk is a liquid. We cannot count milk. So do you think we can use how many? The answer is no. We need to use another question that will be how much? How much is there? How much milk is there? I have some milk. Okay. So these are different examples of some uncountable nouns. For example, as I mentioned before, coffee is uncountable, milk is uncountable, money, pasta, while apples are countable. So if I want to ask about the quantity of the items, here I often use how much or how many. Okay? As you can see here, for the upper part, I have a singular. For the upper left corner, I have a singular countable nouns. There is an apple, there is a banana, there is a cake, there is a burger, countable. Okay. For the lower part, I have plural countable. There are some oranges, there are some eggs, there are some cherries, apples, cookies, carrots. Okay. But for the upper right corner, I have the uncountable items. We are always referring to them using is, singular. There is some cheese, there is some flour, there is some pasta, there is some cheese, because we cannot make it plural. There is bread, there is butter, there is honey. Okay, so now since we decide about the countable and the uncountable, let's make sure that you get this by asking or by doing this exercise. Write the words in the correct column. I have 2 categories, countable and uncountable. Let's read the words. Milk, apples, oranges, salad, bananas, potatoes, chicken, water, eggs, and bread. Now let's decide. For the first one, milk, milk is definitely uncountable. Then I have apples. Apples are countable. I have S for plural. Oranges are also countable. Salad is uncountable. Bananas are countable. Potatoes are also countable. Chicken is uncountable. Water is uncountable. Eggs is countable. Bread is uncountable. Okay? Now, we decided about the countable and the uncountable nouns. In order to ask about the quantity of the countable nouns, we use the question word how many. Okay? How many bananas? How many cupcakes? How many cats? How many t-shirts? How many sisters? How many officers? How many cars? How many whales? How many strawberries? And so on. All these items that we just mentioned, all the items you can see here, all the nouns are countable. If I want to know the quantity or the numbers, we'll be using how many. But if I have uncountable nouns, we cannot use how many now, we must use how much. As you can see, I have milk, I have honey, I have butter, oil, I have salt, sugar, cereal, I have fish, meat, bread, I have cheese. Okay, if I want to know about the quantity, I'll be using how much. How much sugar is there? How much bread is there? How much meat do you eat? And so on. These are some examples of uncountable nouns. Like what? Bread, rice, milk, chocolate, and water. These are examples of uncountable nouns. How to ask about them? How much? Now, can you count these things? Here I try to trick you by putting some items that we can count and others that we cannot count. For example, I have flour, sand, water, boat, sugar, and grape. What do you think? Can we count flour? Can I say I have 1, 2, 3? Actually, flowers are countable, so flowers are countable. How about sand? Can we count sand? We cannot count sand, so sand is uncountable. How about water now? Can we count water? It's impossible, but we can count the boats. I have 1, 2, 3, 3 boats, for example. Same for sugar. We cannot count sugar, but we can count the grapes. Grapes are countable nouns. Very good, my dear student. These are different examples of countable and uncountable food. Okay, let's read some. Burgers, sandwiches, hot dogs, cherries, apples, grapes, oranges, olives, melons. Okay, for the uncountable, you can see bread, fruit, juice, meat, rice, cereal, milk, coffee, and tea. We often refer to them by using there is some, but here we can use singular or plural. There is a burger, or there are 2 burgers. Okay, so help me out with this one. Based on the noun we have, if it's countable or uncountable, we will decide about the question word. How biscuits did you eat? So biscuits, my dear student, is it countable or uncountable? Biscuits, very good, is plural. How many biscuits did you eat? How many biscuits? I ate 5 biscuits, for example. Countable, right? I need to know about the quantity. Now, how about this one? How orange juice do you want? Here I have orange juice. Decide now or help me out. Is orange juice countable or uncountable? Definitely uncountable. That's why we are using how. How much orange juice did you eat or do you want? How much orange juice? I want a glass of orange juice. Okay? Now, let's introduce some irregular nouns. Irregular nouns that we form the plural in a different way. For example, as you can see here, I have a child. Child is singular. Children are plural. Mouse, mice. Remember, all these are countable nouns. Countable nouns. Child, children, mouse, mice. Now, how about these? I have different examples. Person, people, tooth, teeth, mouse, mice, cactus, cacti, man, men, foot, feet, child, children, leaf, leaves, sheep, sheep, ox, oxen. Now, these are nouns that we form the plural in a different way. Now, here I have the same, but I need your help here to match. As you can see here, I have 2 pictures with 2 words, singular and plural. Let's try to match. For the first one, I have tooth, teeth. The first picture, I have a tooth, and then I have teeth. Okay, next set of words, knives, knife. Knife is singular, knives are plural. Very good. Person, people. Person is singular, people are plural. Very good. Women, women. Women is singular, women are plural. Mouse, mice. Mouse is singular, mice are plural. And for the last pictures, I have leaves and leaf. Leaf is singular, leaves are plural. Very good, my dear student. Now, let's move to different exercise. As you can see here, to your left, I have all the nouns singular, but to your right, I have plural forms. I gave you one as an example, and I try to help you by putting a picture, because we have this in your book. Man, men. Child, children. Deer, same, deer. Leaf, leaves. Wolf, wolves. Mouse, mice. Fish, same, fish. Tooth, teeth. Very good. So we have, or we match the singular with the plural. Now, I need you to open your books at page 29. I'll be zooming the upper part, then I'll be moving to the next one. Using how many or how much. Remember, we use how much with uncountable nouns. How much is the ticket? For uncountable nouns. Let's try to give examples. Money, rice, water, oil, sugar, chicken, meat, tea, coffee. All these are considered to be uncountable nouns. Because they are uncountable, we will be using how much. The next one, I have how many cars are there? I can count the cars. 1, 2, 2 cars. So we'll be using how many with countable nouns. Okay? Let's have some examples. Reals, apples, books, boys, men, women, doctors, teachers, pencils, bananas. All these are countable nouns. So let's read one more time. How much is the ticket is used for uncountable nouns. And we have some examples. How many is used for countable nouns? We have different examples. Okay, let's move to the next part. We have examples of irregular plural nouns. Okay, let's start with the first one. I have a deer with an article. A deer, deer. A foot, feet. A moose, moose. A man, man. Now pay attention that with singular we use an article, a or an. Let's read one more time. A deer, deer. A foot, feet. A moose, moose. A man, men. Very good. So let's revise what we have learned in this lesson, my dear student. In this lesson, we talked about the 2 question words. If we need to know about the quantity, how much or how many. We said that we use how much with uncountable nouns. We use how many with countable nouns. Also, we introduce different irregular nouns, okay? As you can see here, I have child, children, mice, mouse, or you can go to the ones you have in your books at page 29. So that was my lesson, my dear student. Until I see you next time, stay safe. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.